Hello guys, I'm Tom, and today we're going to explore the new aliens from the Alien Earth series. For as long as I can remember, the Alien universe has been much more than a simple science fiction saga to me. It's not just a collection of movies, comics, and novels. It's a dark myth that has entwined itself with my imagination like a poisonous vine, growing silently over the years. Since childhood, its imagery has haunted me with the same persistence as an echo in a deep cavern. The silhouette of a biomechanical creature moving through shadows, the metallic glint of an inner jaw, the wet sound of an unnatural birth. That's why immersing myself once again in this oppressive and claustrophobic universe with Alien Earth hasn't been like watching a new production. It has been like opening an old door I swore I would never cross again, fully aware that what awaited on the other side was not a nostalgic dream, but a nightmare that had been waiting for years. The dual premiere on FX and Hulu didn't just bring back the supreme architect of our nightmares, that relentless predator we call the Xenomorph. It also threw us into a whole new catalog of biological horrors, creatures so inhuman that when I turned off the TV, I found myself double-checking every corner of my house, as if something that shouldn't exist might be lurking in the shadows. Noah Hawley hasn't just revitalized the essence of the Alien universe. He has returned its feverish pulse, turning this franchise into something closer to a nightmarish fever dream than conventional science fiction. He has done so by presenting us with a parade of beings seemingly designed not to scare in the traditional sense, but to unsettle, to slip into our subconscious, and remain there, in that space where fear transforms into fascination. These new parasites are genuine marvels of grotesque engineering, creatures that defy any biological classification and seem conceived solely to exquisitely churn your stomach. In this analysis, we'll dive into each of these alien organisms debuting in the first 2 episodes, exploring everything from the creature that gave rise to the legend to the most recent deformities, which astonishingly make a facehugger look like a harmless toy. So get ready. What's coming is not just a tour through the repulsive and the strange, but a journey through the hypnotic and the inevitable. The Xenomorph's first major appearance in the series is a masterstroke of visual storytelling. We don't see it as external spectators. We see it as it sees. The camera adopts its perspective, and suddenly we stop being mere witnesses and become the predator itself, moving through the corridors of the Maginos with an instinct that borders on animalistic but is guided by cold intelligence. It's not a distorted image like in Alien Covenant. Here, every detail, the gleam of the metallic walls, the distant hum of the engines, the precise curve of a corridor, is presented with surgical clarity. It's a device that turns us into accomplices in the hunt without realizing it, and that complicity feels uncomfortably natural. The Mororo sequence is simply legendary. The containment system fails, and one by one, the crew members are eliminated. A woman, seized by panic, begs to have the mother chamber opened. Morro, with chilling calm, closes the door, welding it shut while humming a tune, as if there were only an annoying noise on the other side. Outside, the Xenomorph stops for nothing. It pierces the reinforced door as if it were paper, and its biomechanical head crashes against the glass in a direct nod to the shuttle scene from Covenant. Thick drool drips onto Morro, who barely finds shelter for a few seconds. This is not a mindless attack. It is a methodical, almost artistic act by a predator that savors every moment before the final strike. In the second episode, the beast displays its full physical and strategic capabilities. The Maginos crashes into the towers of Prodigy City, and the new urban landscape becomes its hunting ground. The elevator sequence with Joe the Hermit is pure compressed terror. The Xenomorph lunges at him with that impossible biomechanics, stopping just inches before the doors close. One can't help but think of the T-1000 chasing Sarah Connor, But here there's a more primal, visceral nuance. The alien's hiss reverberates through the metal shaft, filling the air with an almost tangible tension. The statue scene is another stroke of genius. Joe and a soldier try to warn a group of French Revolution reenactors, but behind them, a modern sculpture seems part of the decor, until Joe realizes it's breathing. The Xenomorph has been there all along, motionless, stalking like a feline, prolonging suspense before the attack. This is no longer just hunting. It's psychological manipulation. The attack is swift and ruthless. The soldier is used as a human shield while his shots bounce off uselessly. What follows is a slaughter shrouded in darkness. Screams, shadows of torn bodies cast on the ceiling, and then absolute silence. The series also delves into its behavior. Morrow mentions that the Xenomorph reacts to fear pheromones, which explains why it avoids synthetics. There is no scent that betrays vulnerability. This is not a monster acting purely on instinct. It is a predator that analyzes and selects. Its tail, far from being just a weapon, is a versatile tool. It knocks Joe off a balcony with surgical precision, serves as a lever for propulsion, and even allows backward movement, something unprecedented in the franchise. When Morrow tries to immobilize it with electricity and spray polymer, the restraints last only seconds. The creature breaks them as if they were cobwebs. The ending of episode 2 is unsettling. It captures Joe but doesn't kill him. It drags him away. Fans know that rarely bodes well. The design by Weta Workshop honors H.R. Geiger's original vision but adds new details. The organic gleam of the dome, the rough texture of the segments, the precise sound of every movement, all calculated to amplify fear. This is not a xenomorph. It is the Xenomorph, a force of nature capable of turning a simple space accident into an extinction-level event. Although the facehuggers have no direct action in these episodes, their presence is felt. Suspended in tanks aboard the Magino, they are dormant threats, but latent ones. Even immobile, their mere image serves as a silent warning. Proof of their lethality appears in the body of a crew member who died during cryosleep. A chestburster emerged with such violence that it shattered its protective glass. In the hold of the Maginos, 6 alien eggs rest unguarded, aligned as if waiting. And here an unsettling detail arises. Only a queen can lay them. How did they get there? The blue light bathing them and the mist surrounding them immediately evoke the atmosphere of the original film. It takes only a whisper or a movement for that haze to stir. It's a mystery that is just beginning and promises to open the door to far darker secrets. When Wendy ventures into the shadows of the Maginos, something claims her attention, something completely unnoticed by the rest of the crew. It is not a defined sound, nor a mechanical beep, nor the murmur of the ventilation. It is something more ethereal, an intangible vibration that seems to move through the air itself. A whisper of static, a pulse buried in the environment, as if the void were entrusting her with a coded secret, a signal that only she can perceive. That echo does not arise by chance. It is a clear indication that the alien eggs are not dead or inert, but active, perhaps exchanging information or invisible chemical signals. Wendy's hybrid nature gives her access to this flow of communication, an unnoticed link that allows her to sense what other human minds could never even suspect. The most unsettling aspect is that these eggs exist without the presence of a queen, a fact that opens a range of disturbing and persistent questions running throughout the season. Are they created through some artificial process, a biological engineering experiment by Weyland-Yutani? Is a queen hidden somewhere in an unexplored corner of the ship, waiting for the right moment to reveal her existence? Or has the corporation found a way to reproduce them independently, breaking known biological rules? Each possibility carries chilling implications and heightens the tension in every scene where the eggs appear suspended, inert, but brimming with devastating potential. As the series progresses, the horror diversifies into grotesque, meticulously designed forms. The hematophagus insectoid parasites are a perfect example of pure body horror. Visually, they appear as an abominable hybrid between a battle bug and a monstrously enlarged tick, crafted with precision to ensure that every segment, every jointed leg, and every antenna is designed to disturb even the most desensitized viewer. At first, their presence is almost imperceptible. They hide in cracks, camouflage against skin and metal, and only reveal themselves when they attack. Their modus operandi is terrifying. They attach to the victim, pierce the skin, and drain blood with frightening efficiency. One of the most disturbing sequences shows one of these parasites silently climbing a prodigy soldier's armor. When it finally embeds itself in the victim's neck, its abdomen grotesquely inflates like a water balloon filled with stolen life, wobbling until it can barely move. There is no dramatic burst or hatching. It simply empties its prey, leaving a shell, a body stripped of vitality, before the mind can even comprehend what is happening. Beyond the bugs, the series introduces the Oculus, perhaps the most twisted and brilliant creation we've seen so far. Its name, evoking the eye patterns many species use to intimidate predators, becomes here a concept of pure nightmare. The creature possesses 8 eyes arranged like a spider's and viscous tentacles with brutal strength. It hides within other organisms until it chooses to reveal itself, and its appearance delivers an intimate jolt of terror. One of the most shocking moments occurs when it emerges from a cat, subverting the feline trope as a false alarm in horror films. Its attack is precise and brutal. It attaches to the eye socket, devours the eye, and penetrates the host's brain, taking control of its neural connections. Once fused, its 8 eyes merge into a single large, shining eye, replacing the host's original eye and creating a disturbing asymmetry that reinforces its alien nature. When it attacks Nibs, a hybrid, the fundamental question arises: can it discern between human and synthetic? Its erratic, swift, and silent movement recalls the spiderhead from The Thing, intensifying its aura as a living nightmare. The carnivorous plant is another nightmare combining aesthetics and function. A green trap with the soul of a xenomorph. At first glance, it resembles a Venus flytrap mutated by H.R. Geiger on a day of dark inspiration. Gleaming moisture, viscous textures, and tentacles that slide like living snakes. It does not chase. It waits, analytical and patient. When it senses a hybrid, it seems to hesitate, assessing whether it qualifies as prey. Even the determined stance of a bold intruder is no guarantee. It can retreat, calculate, and wait for the precise moment to strike. Its tentacles recall the appendage that ended Bjorn in Alien, Romulus, but with a more tactical and deliberate approach. The trap is ready long before the victim even realizes where they have stepped. Despite having already witnessed 4 creatures, the Xenomorph, the hematophagus bugs, the Oculus, and the carnivorous plant, Morrow warns that there are 5 aboard. The 5th remains an unsettling mystery. Early on, a spider-like silhouette with multiple eyes glowing in a laboratory's darkness is glimpsed, but we never see it act. It is a contained threat, a promise of horror that, when unleashed, could surpass all the others in terror. Hawley and his team's brilliance lies in designing these creatures not as isolated entities, but as an interconnected, macabre ecosystem. All share a parasitic nature, but each explores a different type of fear. The slow loss of life, the bugs; control over body and mind, the Oculus; silent trapping and consumption, the carnivorous plant; and the primal terror of being hunted, the Xenomorph. They do not attack each other. They seem to coordinate instinctively, forming a united front against any human. The mystery of how they escaped remains unresolved. The clues are fragmentary. A dead technician, open containers, chaos aboard the Maginos, a jammed iris gate. Was it an accident, sabotage, or deliberate action by the creatures? No answer is certain, but the consequence is clear. The ship has become a floating slaughterhouse. Some crew members awaken from cryosleep to attempt containment, but time is against them. Deaths occur with brutal variety. Bodies drained to mummification, victims hunted while sleeping, and at least one host forced to harbor a chestburster. If this is what the series has managed to show in just 2 episodes, what awaits promises a prolonged, 8-hour descent through the most creative, visceral, and disturbing territories that body horror can conceive. Noah Hawley has succeeded in building a universe where every shadow, every flicker, every vibration in the air can be both a threat and a story in itself. And honestly, I can't wait to discover which horrors and secrets still lurk in those shadows that the series has not yet dared to illuminate.